doing this. All right, I'm going to do the introduction. And if you'll hold on, we will bring you in just a few. Welcome, welcome. I am Kim, co-host of the Parker Daniels Show. I welcome all of you who are our faithful subscribers. Welcome back to our show. And I welcome those who are viewing us for the first time. Hit that subscribe button so you can get notifications every time we post on YouTube. This is a program that we have put together, my co-host and I, Anthony, to inform and let people be aware of those of us who are blind or visually impaired or with some other type of disability as well. We're here to educate the public that just because we're blind, we're not incapable of living a normal life. And for instance, the guest I have today is a young gentleman. I'm going to call him young because I don't call anybody old. A young gentleman who is currently blind. He's been blind at a young age. We'll get into his information. He's happily married with a child and a grandchild, a new grandchild. So I know he's enjoying that because I have 4 of them, so I love my grandbabies. He was a producer in California, and we're going to get a little information about that from him and all that. So without any other delay, sit back and listen and watch as we introduce Mr. Simone. Mr. Simone.
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine and dandy. All right, Mrs. Simone, can you tell me just a little bit information about yourself?
I am 51 years old. Today, as a matter of fact, is my birthday. I live in Northern California. I moved up here about 2 years ago now. My wife got transferred up here, or got a job offer up here that was hard for us to pass up, and my daughter and my granddaughter and son-in-law live up here, so it seemed like the right thing to do. I was not a producer in Southern California. Just to correct you, I was a film technician with a small media format company where I loaded the camera cartridges that go in the movie cameras, and I ran perforators and slitters, and basically I fabricated a Super 8 and 16 millimeter film for several TV shows like American Horror Story and just quite a few movies I've done. So I did some film for Pearl Harbor, the movie.
Oh, wow. I love that movie.
It was all darkroom work.
Uh-huh.
They wanted somebody that wasn't going to get sick of being in the dark all the time. And being that I've been pretty much in a dark room my whole life.
Well, that was a job for you then. That was a good...
I was there like 19 years. And
wow.
Now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, whether it be assistive technology or I'd like to help people out with technology. People that are blind, they go blind later on in life, elderly people.
Right.
They need to learn the technology too, and not like the young blind kids that are whiz bang with everything.
Right. Because I honestly, if it wasn't for my phone, I wouldn't know what I do. Because a computer, I'm lost on a computer. I know nothing. I tell everybody this, and my co-host makes fun of me. I am computer illiterate, I just don't, and I don't know if it's because I have lost my sight that I am hesitant to use today's technology, or just because I won't take the time to familiarize myself with it since I've gone blind.
I hear you. I hear you.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing there. But just out of curiosity, I know we're kind of jumping the gun, but how did you get into that type of profession?
The film?
Yeah, because you've been blind since 6 years old, correct?
Yeah.
So how did you get into something like that? How did you get a job opportunity like that?
I was going to Braille Institute in Los Angeles, taking classes just to get out of the house, and I was helping to teach a amateur radio class there.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking guitar lessons and typing classes, and just to get out of the house, because my daughter was older and didn't need me home full time like she had in the past. And I was going to my counselor every week, staying in touch with my counselor there at the Braille Institute, and he knew that I needed work. I had a family to support. So when they got the call for the job from the place I worked for, Pro 8mm it was called, they sent me on the interview and I got the job.
Wow, that is a wonderful opportunity and it's not trying to classify, but it is a wonderful opportunity for a blind individual. And in fact, I think it'd be a wonderful opportunity for anybody and stuff. But the fact that you were blind and had that type of responsibility and job career, that is truly amazing. And in my opinion, 1 point for the blind. you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think what's the number say? 70% of blind people are unemployed.
Yeah, actually, it's gone up in the past 2 years. It's gone up to 75%.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because that's not because most blind people don't want to work. A lot of the time, it's because you live in a really rural area.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in some small little town where there's no work for sighted people, let
Right.
alone blind people,
Right.
it's tough.
It is.
Now I don't live near any big metropolitan. I'm 65 miles away from Sacramento, and I'm 75 miles away from San Francisco. So I fall into that middle of nowhere kind of, town where there's just people commute to go to work.
Right, right.
So,
It is so true.
yeah.
Now, okay, I know you said you've been blind since we're gonna kind of digress here, but how did you lose your sight?
I was born with glaucoma, and I was born in Canada, Montreal, Canada, and technology back then, and medicine back then. I had several eye surgeries when I was young. I don't remember them. I was too little to remember the surgeries, but they weren't able to save my sight. The pressure on my optic nerves. Today, if you're born with glaucoma, they can preserve your sight.
Yes.
But 45 years ago was different.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Okay, so now, okay, you've been blind since 6. So I know you went to school. You went to a blind.
No, I went to regular school.
You went to regular public school. How was
Yes, I
that?
did.
How was that? How were you treated?
It prepared me for life, I think, more than going to a blind school. I mean, everybody's different. I'm not trying to say, my way's the right way.
Right.
But in my personal opinion, sending a blind kid to all blind school is doing him a disservice because it's not preparing you for the sighted world, which as a blind person, I'm sure you know, we live in a sighted world. The world's
Right.
not going to conform for us.
Sure doesn't. Sure doesn't.
And you said something earlier in the intro that I want to comment on, that blind is not a way of life. It's an inconvenience, right?
It is an inconvenience, but I mean you have to learn to. I mean this is my opinion, that you have to learn to adapt to it to make it your way of life. Once and everything. But no, it is an inconvenience in a sense and everything.
Yeah,
so I do agree with
that.
that.
It doesn't have to be a way of life, though. Blind. It's an inconvenience at the best. I mean, and educating other people too. Telling other people they don't know. If you don't tell them, they don't know. They see a blind person on TV, and that's what they build
Their stereotype around.
Yeah, their stereotype of, oh, do you want to touch my face? Not really. You want to touch my face?
No, I don't know where your hands have been. I don't want to touch you.
You've been watching too many Helen Keller movies.
Yeah, definitely. But
we're all different, right?
We are.
You get these people that, oh, you should meet my neighbor's cousin's dog. He's blind too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I know.
They just think since we're blind, we're just all going to get along.
Yeah.
The same person. Well, and I know that there's some blind a-holes out there.
Oh, yes.
There's sighted a-holes.
Definitely. Well, okay, now, you've been blind. You said you've been married for 27 years?
28 years.
28 years. Okay. How did you meet your wife?
Believe it or not, I met my wife on the CB radio.
What?
Yeah, the CB radio was a big part of my life when I was a kid. I like to tell people that the CB was what the internet is today.
True,
in the
true.
Early 80s, late 70s.
That's so true. Yeah, we did have one back then.
Yeah, and I went to Radio Shack and saved my allowance, and I put an antenna up on my roof with my help of my friends, and that was my way to reach out to the world. And I just started, talking to people all around my town and making friends. And when I was probably 18, I was talking to this girl on the radio, and I went to go meet her with one of my friends, and actually my friend dated her first, but her and I got along better than they did, and we just ended up together, and the rest is history.
Wow.
We had a child at 20 years old, and yeah, we've been together. We've been together 31 years, and we've been married 28. But yeah, we met on the CB.
Okay. Wow. Now, dating her, when you were dating her and you were blind, was it hard for you to explain to her? Like when you wanted to go out or when you were out in public and stuff like that. I mean, how did she adapt to dating a blind person, in your
That would
opinion?
probably be a better question for her, but I just don't remember it really being a big issue.
Uh-huh.
I remember she ran me into a few things and felt real bad. And then, of course, I got all mad, and I was more embarrassed for myself than anything.
Right.
She felt bad, but, over time, she got used to describing things to me, and
Uh-huh.
it just never was really an issue. It wasn't like, oh, I'm dating the blind guy,
Right.
We just, hit it off. We had a lot in common, and we were young, we were young, so I guess when you're young, you kind of adapt faster,
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is truly amazing and stuff, because I know. Well, see, my husband, we were married before I actually lost my sight. I have a eye disease that I gradually, basically, watched myself go blind.
Right.
And in the past, let's just say, what is this, 2008? In the past 8 years, in the past 5 years, my eyesight dwindled. So it drastically dwindled. And in the past year or two, I've lost sight completely. So
Right.
he had to learn how to adapt to with me going blind, and he still hasn't fully, adapted to it, because it's like I'll ask him, well, babe, where's something at in the house, and he'll say, oh, it's over there, and it's
I
like,
did that too.
and it's like, okay, honey, it's like I can't see where is over there, and everything.
I know what you mean.
And we laugh about it, but I do know he's very sensitive, because I do have a tendency, if I lose, I'll lose this, or I'll become disoriented sometimes, and I'll walk into a wall, and he
Right.
gets so upset, and it's like, well, if you'd stop moving the walls, I wouldn't walk into it,
Yeah, I hear you there.
and everything. But no, that is so amazing. Now, I know you said you moved into Northern California, and you are currently looking for employment, correct?
Yes, I am.
Well, just kind of put it out there. What kind of experience or what kind of job opportunity are you looking for as an individual?
Like I said earlier, I would really be interested in working with tech support on the accessibility side of things, like the Apple iPhone or the Apple TV or the iPad. I drink the Apple Kool-Aid, so I have all the Apple gadgets, the watch and everything.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to teach that, or help people that are newly blinded, that are just started to get into those products. Sales would be something I think I'd be pretty good at. I'm a people person, and I have no problem with dealing with people. So I think sales would be something. I'm not sure. Like I said, I worked so long in the same thing. I really never had to look for a job. So
Uh-huh.
it's all new to me.
Okay. Well, definitely, anybody who is viewing, if you know of somebody or you have a company that is interested in talking further with Mr. Simone, please contact us with your information, and we will get it to Mr. Simone and stuff, so that he can have some, kind of personal blockage right there, kind of a go-between. Because we don't give out any of our any of our guest information on our thing, on our page and everything. So anybody who wants to contact any of our guests on our show for job opportunities, please don't hesitate to contact me or Anthony um, via email, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Those are all of the
I
things that we
appreciate
have.
that.
And
I
everything. I mean,
appreciate
it's
that.
an
I'm also a
opportunity,
Braille
you
reader,
know.
so any kind of Braille, I can help out with Braille. You know, anybody learning Braille, I read Braille all my life,
Uh huh.
so I
Now,
know
how
Braille.
how 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 fundamental is Braille learning in today's society? Do you think a blind person still needs to learn Braille?
I still think there's definitely a place for it.
Because I haven't
I
learned it yet, and I'm debating or not should I go learn it or not.
Well, that's up to you individually. I mean, if I listen to all my books on audio, and I've gotten really lazy on my Braille, but there is the times that it's nice to read the written word,
Yeah.
with a Braille display, or just to, I read Braille a little bit here and there just so I can not completely lose it.
Uh huh.
But I definitely, the iPhone has gotten us all lazy, right? I mean,
Yes.
all the phone
Yes.
numbers I had in my head and everything else. It's like if I was to lose my iPhone, it would be like losing a limb for
Yes.
me. And I'm
Yes.
sure you feel the same.
Definitely. Definitely.
The iPhone has become such a big part of my life.
Yes, it sure has.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Simone, I do appreciate you coming on. Now, just before we close out, Mr. Simone, can you tell our viewers, in your own words, what advice or encouragement can you give to an individual who is maybe just losing their sight or maybe going through a tough spot in their lifetime as a blind or even as a disabled individual?
Well, first let me say that going blind later on in life, I can't imagine. I mean, having your car taken away from you and I've met people in different stages of blindness throughout my life, and my heart goes out to the people losing their sight later on in life, as you did, Kim, because I've been blind from such a young age that it wasn't hard for me to adapt, per se, in a sighted world because I was blind from such a young age. But I can say this, that life will continue, life will go on, and today's technology and all the things that are available for blind people that weren't around even 10 years ago, let alone when I was a kid. It's amazing now what you can do. The iPhone we were talking about.
Yes.
I have a blind friend who's in his mid 60s, and he went blind from diabetes probably around my age, early 50s, and he is really good on the iPhone, the iPad. He does everything. He embraced the technology. So, and he's an elderly gentleman. So, I mean, that tells you that if he could do it, anybody can do it, from a young age to a middle age to an older age person. And you have so many neat things at your disposal now, like Netflix, for example, has all the audio description for their movies and their original TV shows. That wasn't around when I was a kid. I was constantly saying, "What's happening now? What's happening now? What's happening now?" People were like, "I'm trying to watch the movie. Shut the hell up. What's happening now?" So that's just an example. You mean Netflix? You've got so many things that you can do now, with technology and with smartphones and with, speech software for your computer. And I just think that, as silly as it sounds, it's not a terrible time to be blind compared to what was around 20, 30 years ago, if that makes any sense.
It does.
And I would say to the person that, be strong and be yourself, because being blind doesn't mean that you're not the same person you were before you started losing your sight. That's just something else that you're going to have to adapt to, and have those around you and your family and friends. You need to let them know. You need to let them know what you need and don't need. And don't let people put limitations on you. You decide what your limitations are. Don't let other people decide what your limitations are.
Definitely.
That's about the best advice I can give there, Kim.
Well, that's great. That is so wonderful. And that is so true, everything you said and stuff. Well, viewers, you have heard it here on the Parker Daniels Show with our own guest, Mr. Simone. Opportunities are out there and everything. Don't give up faith. Don't give up hope. And don't limit yourself. Definitely don't limit yourself. That's my biggest thing, because as I am a true testimony, in the past 2 weeks, I finally downloaded, well, I call it's Lyft down here in Louisiana. I finally downloaded Lyft and I got to the store all by myself.
That's awesome.
First
Yeah.
time in the past
Lyft.
8 years that I've gone
Yep.
blind.
Lyft and Uber have definitely opened up my world for me too. So
Yes.
you're in the right. You're on the right path.
Yes. So I did that for myself for the first time, and I've used it. I was scared, but I mean, hey, I did it. And so I'm proud of myself and everything. So we
Good for
can
you.
get around. We can get around and everything. And like I said, I use my cane as a weapon, because if you get in my way, I'm gonna hit you. So but anyway, my name is Kim. I am co-host of the Parker Daniels Show. Please hit that subscribe button so you can get notifications, leave comments, share this video with those of you, with your friends and all that. You can check us out on Facebook. You can also check us out on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can email us at parkerdaniels2018@yahoo.com. You can leave us a bio. You can leave us a comment. If you have a job opportunity for any of our guests that we have had on our show, please do that. We are trying to make connections between jobs and those of us who are looking for jobs. We have some very smart, intelligent, college educated individuals who need a job, or who want a job. Let's put it that way. Who want a job, who want to work. And I have found that those who want to work are normally better for those companies, because they're dedicated. They're going to be dedicated. So please send us a bio, send us a comment at that webpage, at that email, I mean. Like I said, it's Parker Daniels, ParkerDaniels 2018